Gold is spending its time going sideways at the moment, possibly ready to make another move to the upside, or is it going to make a move to lower prices? Is this surge to the top over and done with, or is it just a breather and now we're ready for the next phase? Oil on a weekly basis looks like it's lost its power right now and looking like it's taken a small correction. How far is this correction going to go this week? How much power to the downside does it have? And have the geopolitical situations now lightened up a little bit to bring the price of oil back down again to a reasonable price? When we look at the 4-hour chart of the oil price, you can see it's still pretty much taking a nosedive. And I've marked the possible bottom of this range around about $84 per barrel. We're either going to expect to see it reject off this one price to move higher, or it's going to show weakness and come all the way down to the likes of $80 per barrel, which is a normal price anyway. The S&P 500 still looking very weak. It's still experiencing lots of sell-off. How low is this possibly going to go? I've marked off 2 possible points here, which we could see over the course of the week. Now, if we look at the 4-hour market, we can see it is just going down. And if we're going to follow the trend, we should expect it to come and visit these two lines of support down here, or are these 2 lines here where all the buyers are waiting quite patiently to buy some discounted stocks? The fear and greed index is currently at 57, so we're on borderline greed and neutral. The general markets are showing more and more fear as the days go on. How long is it going to be until we start seeing reversal in this? Are we going to see more greed? Are we going to see more extreme greed? Or are we going to be moving into the extreme fear area and possibly showing a bottom to the market? And how long is that bottom going to take is the question. The all-important Bitcoin halving that everyone's talking about in 2024 is now 1 day and 18 hours approximately away. Is the Bitcoin halving of 2024 already priced in? Are we buying the rumor, selling the news? Are we going to see 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, or are we going to see a bigger dip before the start of this halving? I really don't know. It's very much speculation, and in all fairness, anything could happen. The price of Bitcoin went down yesterday by a little bit more than 4%. It was around about 2,600 euros. It topped out at 60,100 and it closed approximately at 57,500. The high that we had yesterday was 60,782. And the low we saw 56,129. So it had a good move to the downside. There was about 4,000 euros worth of movement there in that 1 day. The Bitcoin pivot points that we're interested in looking based upon yesterday's movements is the top is 60,782 up here. And then down the bottom, 56,129. Are we going to see the price bounce off this one bottom pivot point to come and test the top today, or are we going to see lower lows? As we go through this video, we will analyze the price, but right now it's looking like we are going to make lower prices. Hello and welcome to today's Bitcoin price analysis. It is the 18th of April 2024. My name is David Thorne and you are watching David's videos. If you are new to my channel and this is the first time you are seeing one of my Bitcoin price analysis videos, as you can see here, I make a log of every single day's price movement, sometimes more than one video per day. But if you come over to the Bitcoin price analysis playlist that I have on my channel, you can see that I annotate every single day with the change that it's had, and they're all in order, so you can go back and check out any video that I've made in the past. Before we move on, I just want to make a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a professional trader, and this is not financial advice. You are always responsible for all trades that you make, and please ignore everything that I say in this one video. Now, if you have watched some of my other videos, today I'm trying out a new format of videos using more of a presentation. This will allow us to keep more of a log of what was said and what my thoughts were. Now, as I said, if you are new to my channel, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. All these videos are here for me to make a log about my own portfolio, the money that my wife and me invested into Bitcoin back in 2021. Now, yes, it was a difficult year in 2022, but we stuck through it. And as you can see now, we are moving into profits, and we have taken, or I have taken profits up the top at 67,000, 66,000. And we'll talk about it more through the course of this one video. So like I said, remember, this is not financial advice. This is just me talking about my own investments, but naturally you are more than welcome to listen in. But please remember, you are responsible for all decisions that you make. With that all out the way, I just finally want to remind you that I do lots of research for this. I have to make the video and then I have to edit it as well. So please, all I'm asking you to do is just give this video a like. That is it. Now, if you want to write any feedback or comments on what I've said in this video, I am open to discussion as well. And obviously, if you don't want to miss out on any videos that I make in the future, then please take the time out right now to subscribe to the video, and don't forget to tap that notification bell so you do get notified when I make new videos. With that all out the way, let's jump straight in to look at the Bitcoin price. As we can see, zooming out as per normal on a weekly level, we can see now that we are moving into a pretty much of a red week. You know, we're on Thursday, so we've still got a good 3 days or 4 days left of trading before the week closes. So really anything could happen. All of these losses, let's call them, could be sucked back again. But are they really losses, or are they opportunities to buy Bitcoin at a discount? So if you want to buy Bitcoin at a premium up here, then feel free, right? You'll literally just be buying Bitcoin from people selling it for a profit. But these are the times right now to start thinking, okay, maybe we can buy them at a profit. Now, there's always the talks of the bears are the ones that want the price to go down, and then the bulls are the ones that want to go push the price up. But are the bears really wanting lower prices because they want the price to go down so everything can fail? Or are they people that just want to buy really cheap, ready to sell it really high? So really, are the bears are the ones that are going to make profits, and the bulls, they just want to lose their money as such. So which one are you? So let's dive into the daily time frame to have a little bit of a deeper look at this sideways movement. Now, the pattern that I'm seeing here all the time is that the price right now has tested or testing this one, let's call it a support level, or this area. I don't like saying support level, this area where there are buyers, and there are lots of buyers. I mean, you can see with this purple and blue candles that there were lots of volume of buyers here. Now, we saw previously with this red candle that there were lots of sellers, but if there's lots of sellers, there were lots of buyers, and we saw there were a huge amount of buyers surging the price back up again when it went down and hit 48,400. So there were an incredible amount of buyers here. And we can see that here in this green candle as well, that there were lots of buyers pushing the price up. Now, we can also see at the top that there is lots of resistance. There are lots of sellers at the top. So we know the buyers are down here and the sellers are up here. This is a key important factor to take into account when looking at charts. You need to be able to spot where are the buyers and where are the sellers. Now, we know there are buyers in this zone, but the questions that we need to ask is, where are the other buyers sat and where are they expecting the price to go? There are people that will buy Bitcoin at any price and they don't care. But there are other people that will snipe to find the exact price where they can go in very large, or where they can then go in small, but because they can see the price going sideways for a long amount of time. So are we seeing a sideways for a long amount of time right now? Are we seeing a distribution pattern? Or are we seeing accumulation pattern? Now, if we are seeing a distribution pattern, then we should expect to see lower prices. But that should be nothing to panic about. You should be liking this, because that means that you can buy Bitcoin at a discount. And who would have thought that you could buy this Bitcoin at a discount with all of the likes of these ETFs and these people going in and the Bitcoin halving? So if you have missed out, then I would advise dollar cost averaging in and just going in a little bit at the time. And when we see prices going back up again, then do whatever you want to do. But right now it is at a discount. Whether or not we see lower discounts is open for discussion. I would say we're definitely going to see 48,666. And that's not me being pessimistic. We've seen it fill all other candle wicks here every single time. So what's wrong with this candlestick? Why can't we come and fill this? You know, we've got to be... If we're going to say that all other candles are being filled here, then we have to expect this candle to be filled as well, be it today or in the future. Now, if we see prices go up in the future, then we should expect it to come back down again. So if you know the price has got to come back down and you see it up here, then you should think, wait a minute, the price is going to come down here again to go back up. So let's just wait until it does come down here. And like I said, I'm not a pessimist saying that Bitcoin's going to zero. That's not me. I'm saying Bitcoin will go to higher prices. But first, I only see it coming down to this one spot and then making a strong move up to the top. And my whole sentiment will change massively in the event that I see it come down here. Right now, I see confluence to say it's moving down here. That we've seen this one support zone. We've seen where the buyers are, and we saw there were buyers here. There were buyers here yesterday as well. Now the question is, are those buyers still there? And if they're not there, where are they? Because they've got to be down here or down here or down here. And if there are still people selling hard, right, then how far are the people going to sell? You know, at what level did they buy their Bitcoin? Are they panic selling or are they selling for profit taking? And at what point does that profit taking finish and then they want to start buying it all back up again? So we've now seen this one area that we have to be careful of. We've seen the sentiment right now is telling us that it's going down, right? We've also seen the sentiment is it's going across. So we need to be aware that we've got two zones where this is being tested. Are we going to see it come back up over the course of a couple of weeks to come back down again to test it once again, ready for it to zoom back up? Or are we going to see lower lows here, ready for then a strong move up? I don't know, because I don't have a crystal ball and I can't tell the future. All I can do is paint a picture, or I can analyze what picture has been painted for us already. So let's move into the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, okay, we don't need this line because we see already it's going down by the EMAs. On this time frame, we can see that the EMAs, the 5 to 15 and the 8, are consistently going down, and we've seen it test the areas once, twice, 3, and then gone down, and then come back and tested the previous support level, or where the buyers were, and then the sellers took control and pushed the price down. We see the buyers here. At the moment, there is buying power. We see that through this blue. We see that through this blue candle. All right, blue candle had some strength. Blue is nowhere near the strength of what a red one is, or let's say what a green one is here. But we saw there was buying power here. Now, these light green ones, they're really of no relevance. There's no volume there. So right now, are we going to see this zone here, this 56.7 tested once again? And is it going to be tested once, twice, 3 times? Or is there power? Do the sellers have the strength to push it through? Or the other question is, are there more buyers here? And if there isn't, where are the buyers? So we really need to look left to see where the buyers are. And the only place that I could possibly think, let's not do this, let's just do a horizontal line. The only place that I could possibly think that there are any buyers is around this 52,500, because when we come back here, we see that the price, it's stalled here for 8 hours before making a new high. So I would objectively say, if the price does come, if the price does break through this, we should see a quick movement down, right? But then we should see some form of wick, or at least maybe a rejection at around about the 52.5. Now, if we do see a rejection on the 52.5, we see that there's another possible point of rejection here on 50,000. So these are the two zones really that I'm looking for. And then once again, we see here, if we get rid of this green line here, we see that there is a possible bottom on this at, say, 48,900. So this is what I'm expecting today. If this doesn't have, if there are no buyers here, right? If there are no buyers here, we would expect the price to tank through this really quickly. Now, if there are lots of buyers here, come say 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, if there are lots of buyers here, then we would expect to see the price come up and test this top area once again. But it's going to need huge amount of strength to do that. And the faster this goes up, the quicker it's going to come back down again. And we're still on the 4-hour chart. So let's go to the 1-hour chart and see what we see now. Well, we still see the blue, with the slope of the blue is very much negative still. So we could only assume right now that we are going to see lower prices. And this wick here, this wick has kind of been filled, but it got filled with 2 more red candles. But we see now that there's some form of consolidation around that. So we can see this wick is trying to be filled. So if we expect to see a little bit more play left and right for maybe a day, that might be the case, or we could see this just break and come down again. So there's 2 options. It's either we're going to fill this wick completely in its entirety and then see prices move up, but we can look at this other candle here, and this other wick. Did this other wick get filled? I mean, it came through and it tested it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's kind of been tested, but it's not been filled in its entirety like that. So we could expect the price to come up here and fill this one zone there. Now, this other wick here, has it been filled? Not really. It zoomed straight through. It zoomed straight through again. There was signs of resistance here on it, and then we saw resistance at the top, but really it just came in, got rejected, and came back out again. So we could say that this zone also hasn't been filled. So we could, if it does come up, it's a positive note. If it comes all the way through, we could see it be a support zone, and it could see it bounce off and go back up again. But really, if it leaves a weak area, then it's going to come back to that weak area. So we'd want to see all of these wicks properly filled with price, a consolidation for a good amount of time. Now we can see that there is consolidation here, just going sideways. You know, the bulls and the bears, everyone just agreed upon that price for like like a couple of days or a day or so. They agreed upon the price there, and they said, yeah, it's 60,000 all day long. And pretty much that's what they said, it's 60,000 all day long. But then someone disagreed with it and said, no, the price needs to go down even further. So, and there was like little volatility there as well. So we need to see the reduced volatility first of all to see some form of consolidation and agreement upon the price. Now, if we don't see that consolidation going sideways for a boring amount of time, then I would expect to see lower prices. And we already talked about where the possible points are. So let's go into the 30-minute time frame. And I'd like to say that there is some consolidation here. Well, there is definitely agreement here that the price is between 57.5 and say 57. So at least we've seen some agreement. Now, is this going to go up and then get rejected and come back down again? We can still see that the 50 is, yes, it is bouncing a little bit, but we really need to a view or have a change in direction of the 5, the 8 and 15 to come violently above the 50 to come and test the 200 and then close above the 200. That would be a change in sentiment, in my opinion, if the 5, the 8 and 15 could close above the 200 on the 30 minutes time frame. If it can't do that, like you see here, it couldn't close above it, it could just bounce off of it, then we should expect a real hard rejection once again. Let's go into the 15, see what that says. And we've got, let's call it, to be fair, some kind of consolidation here. So we were, once again, they agreed upon that the price should be here. This was at an evening time yesterday, all the way through to, say, the early hours of this morning. So we saw some form of agreement of consolidation. Is this accumulation or is this distribution? But it was pretty low volume. So we could just bring this across and to say that this whole area is being balanced at least. And it looks objectively like it is being balanced. When is the move to the lower prices, or when is the move to the upper higher prices? Are the sellers going to run out or the buyers going to run out? Which way is it going to be? Right now, the buyers and the sellers are agreeing upon this price. And the volume has increased because we've seen some more darker colours. And like I said, red and green are the strongest volume, and blue and purple are not as strong as red and green, but they are stronger, a lot stronger than these other ones. So If we see that the buys run out, we should expect to see the buys pop in here. Now, if the buys are not there, then we've already just talked about the buys will more than likely be down at the 52,500. So this is what my price ranges are for the day. And let's now go into the 5 minutes. We notice even further that the 5, the 8, and the 15, they pretty much all converge sideways for a good amount of time. Okay, it came up to the 200 or the 300 and then got rejected by the 300. The price could not make higher averages up here. So we saw it come back down again and test this. And how many times have we tested this now here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it broke through a little bit. Are we going to see on the 7th one, is that going to be the breakthrough? Or are we going to see an 8th and 9th time? Are we going to see another high here? Now, if we do see the price break this high, right now it's pretty easy to break the 200 and it's pretty easy to break the 300 EMA on a 5 minute timeline because the time frame, because you know they are nearly all converging with one another as well. Now, in my very little experience, you can see here that when all of the EMAs converge, we see some form of change in movement, change in direction. And if you want to have Bitcoin at a discount, then this looks like round about, let's say, probably the 3 o'clock area. That is when we're going to have a big move to the upside or to the downside. Now, let's just come into the 1 minute chart just for giggles, shall we? And we can see here that this paints a picture of how it should look on the higher time frames. You can see that it is broken through with volume, right? With volume here, to make higher prices, higher average prices above the 200 and 300. The 5, the 8, and the 15 have come back and said, okay, I'm now going to make the 200 is a support zone, and now the 200 is trying to come back above the 300. The 50 is going above that as well. But we see here that the blue candle said there was some volume, but it was welcomed by a red candle that brought the price back down again. However, the buyers, they said, no, I can keep this price going. However, the sellers, they're jumping in right now to say, no, we don't agree with the price movement going up. 57,700 is the price that we want. It got rejected. We can see here that there was some form of support on this one level where the green box is. The price didn't get rejected. It just there was just no people selling really, and it just went back up again. But we started to see people selling here again. So are we going to see this price range here tested multiple times? Is it going to come back down here again? And if it does weaken, if this support zone does weaken, then we should expect to see the buyers down here, which would be then our 8th, I believe it was, or 7th or 8th test on this lower range. Now, if we do see the strength in the buyers here, or the sellers moving, I mean, it's not the strength of the buyers, it's just there's no sellers. The sellers are more than likely going to come up to, say, the 58, 57, 8 range here to sell it back down again. Now, if there is little selling here, then we would expect to come up and test this green line up here. So time will tell on this, and we will see which direction we'll go. But if we zoom back out onto the higher 4-hour time frame once again, and we just try and let's just dump all this again. We just come back here and quickly just draw what we had on here. We can see it's going down. We've got the maroon candle, so we see more volume going down, and the price right now is below the 5 EMA. There's not much volume, so we could expect that this is just a short retracement, a reversal of this one candle, and then we could see the pump down. So we would expect, 10 o'clock, it's too much there. Let's go to the hour candle once again. And we can see that there was some form of consolidation there. We've not got really any conviction, any strength here. So I would expect what we got here, 7 minutes past, it's the new hour, half an hour once again. We could see some movement, but there's not really any conviction. There was lots of selling there, and it's we could. I would say I was correct yesterday and the day before about this, but we might see the price come back up a little bit to kind of fill this one candle here, the middle of this candle at least, to see it then be rejected to come down again to lower prices, back down to the 52,000, or what did I say, 55,000 zone, which we drew in. With that said, I just want to quickly go over my philosophy to the end of the video, because I think this is important for you to understand what my mindset is about getting into Bitcoin. Now, as I said, I got into Bitcoin back in May. There we are. There. I got into Bitcoin back in December 2021. We bought around here again. We bought around here, but then in all fairness, I lost all motivation and we just kind of ignored it because we were like, well, let's just wait. It was a long-term investment that we did. And as far as we were concerned, 5, 10, 15 years, or it's like 20 years is the time frame that we cared about. And we're like, we've invested, a lot of our money there. And so we need to save some more up. And we didn't invest in here, such as life. But now we've learned from these lessons, right? And we're not going to make the mistake once again. I'm very much contrarian on an everyday life, right? And when there's blood on the streets, this is when you should be buying at the bottom, where everyone else is crying, everyone else is saying, don't buy, don't do this, don't do that, panic, panic, panic. But, whoops, there was also another area when you should be doing what everyone else is doing. So you shouldn't be a correct contrarian. So when everyone else is saying buy, 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 consistently, every single person that you hear is all saying buy. Don't go against the tide. If you're in the ocean, you wouldn't swim against the tide because it's really difficult. If there's a strong current, go with the current, surf the current, go with it. Don't go against it. It's only when you can see that the current is weakening and there's other signals coming from other sides where you can see there's a possibility that the current can change. But you need to see confluences. You need to see other signals that this could happen. Now, right now we are seeing sideways motion. And what we can do, we can learn from this, is we saw a sideways motion down here at the bottom, right? Now, that doesn't mean to say that this is the top, but right now what we are seeing is sideways motion, and we saw sideways motion here, and we saw sideways motion kind of here, but this was very much still the herd was moving up. If we draw like a line, we can still see that the slope is going up. Even though it consolidated, it consolidated with a gradual increase all the time. Now, when we come to here, we can see that it went sideways there, but it had the volatility still. So the volatility didn't move away. And we saw, you could look at this area here and pretty much map it over the top down here to see these peaks in the middle. But that was definite sideways motion too. And then we saw in January when the ETFs came out. So I think there was some uncertainty in the beginning about the ETFs, and that dumped the price. Now, is this what we're going to have for the Bitcoin halving? That we have this sideways motion here, and we have a sideways motion here. Then to the end of it, we have this quick, let's call it a quick dump, a quick fake out to the lower side. Is this what we're going to see? And I'm speculating right now, but we see this sideways motion. We see a fake out to the top where maybe people are getting too early. They're getting a little bit like panicking that it's going to happen, and they all jump on. And then we see it dump away, and all those people just lose faith and they sell it all. And then it starts. So are we going to see another dump to the bottom? Or have we not seen that spike first before we see the low once again, ready for the move up? All we've got to say is that let's not speculate. Right now, all we're going to do is we're going to go with the flow of the people. And the people right now are saying that the price of Bitcoin is going to move to higher highs, like 100,000 or 80,000 and so on. And some people are saying it's going to 1 million. Well, right now, I know that I've sold some of my Bitcoin here for good profits. And we've managed to distribute our money also into the likes of Tesla and other Magnificent Seven that are that have been sold off right now. So we've taken some of those profits and put them into other stocks and shares to diversify. So this is my mindset, and I've managed to bag a whole bunch of Solana as well at real lower prices that I never expected to be able to get those prices once again. So this is my mindset. Right now, we just have to be careful, see what goes on, make sure that we keep enough money on the sideline, cash on the sideline, in the event that you can get some real bargains, some discounts. And if Bitcoin does go even lower, then let's just wait for it to stop, right? Let's not panic. Let's just say, fine, it will keep going down. The financial system right now is in absolute euphoria, and it's in panic because they are making debt literally continuously, and there is no way out of this one debt apart from making new debts. So we have to understand that we are seeing more volatility in the market, especially with gold making new highs. Interest rates have moved back to how they were when I was a child. And for me, when I was a child, interest rates of 5, 6, 7%, they were normal. This wasn't incredibly high interest rates. This was normal. My parents telling me about when there was like 12, 13, 14, 15% interest rates when they were first buying their houses. That was when there was an absolute, like a market crash, and people were losing their houses because of that. But they went back down to, say, the 5%, where everyone was happy again. So what does this all mean? How is this all going to work out over the next 3, 4, 5 years? This is the mindset that I have, is I don't care how it's going to end right now. I just want to know, what side effects does today have on the future, and where can I get into the market at the best point? I need to learn from this, ready for the future, ready for the times when it happens again. With that said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've got something out of this. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share. And if you did like the new format to the beginning of the video, then let me know maybe how I can enhance it or whatever. Thank you very much for watching. There won't be another video this afternoon. I will see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao, and goodbye.